Is this everybody? We're waiting on who? I'm going. If I could have your attention. If I could have your attention! Which is a polite way of saying, shut up and sit down and open your ears. You know why I'm here? Shut up. Let me get something straight with all of you right now. I'm going to say some things here, things that you shitheads need to hear. I'm going to phrase some of those things as questions. Those are rhetorical questions. I don't want you to answer like this hammerhead over here just tried to. I don't want you to talk. I'm here to talk. You're here to listen and then to leave here and do what I just told you to do. Got it? Don't talk. Why am I here? Why am I here with you instead of collecting checks from our donors and taking a victory lap after that debate a few weeks ago? That debate where their guy sounded like he couldn't have given a clear answer if the question was asking his name. That debate that should have guaranteed that this next election would just be a slow walk back to the White House for us. That debate that should have guaranteed that this next election would be the last election. Why am I here talking to you after that? What's the first rule of Project 2025? You don't talk about Project 2025. What's the second rule of Project 2025? You don't talk about Project 2025. What's the third rule of Project 2025? You don't fucking talk about Project 2025! I'm sure you've all heard that before. I'm sure you all know that. That being the case, I'm wondering why I'm suddenly reading about Project 2025 in Esquire magazine and seeing people talk about it on CBS News and MSNBC and seeing people tweeting about how, according to Google, the number of searches related to Project 2025 has suddenly gone through the ceiling recently, and seeing Democrats running ads knocking us for Project 2025. I told you Federalist Society geeks, I told you Heritage Foundation dorks to keep your fucking dick suckers closed about Project 2025. What did you do? You put up a website. You published a 900-page manifesto. One of you brainless shits gave a speech at a conference where you said out loud that you supported Christian nationalism. Where are you? Are you here? Yeah. Speedy. I'm talking about you. Put your hand down, you mouth-breathing half-wit. What did I say about Project 2025? That our people would be on board, but if the other side or the media found out about it, they could use it against us. Well, look what's happening. Holy shit. What's the goal? Banning abortion? Deporting immigrants? Putting the unitary executive theory into practice? No! The goal is to win. None of the things we want to do after we win happen unless we win. The goal is to take power and more power and more power, and if any of you are thinking about anything else, you need to screw your head on. Oh, you just love going up on stage and getting cheered at CPAC and NatCon, don't you? Does it feel good to have the pigs in our base oinking their approval make you feel like a big shot? You know what makes me feel like a big shot? Being a big shot! You want to be a big shot? You need money, you need influence, you need power. And all it does when you go on TV or get up on stage or write books or post on websites and give our whole fucking game plan away is give them ammunition to use against us. Now we've got Democrats talking about Project 2025. We've got journalists talking about Project 2025. We've got celebrities talking about Project 2025. We've got late night talk show hosts talking about Project 2025. We've got our guy having to sound like even more of a clueless fuck than he usually does and deny that he knows anything about Project 2025 when most of you shitheads worked for him. What's all that add up to? Distraction. Distraction from our message, from our strategy, from what we need to do. They get distracted. We don't. That's why we win. Their guy has a bad debate, and they've been having a collective panic attack ever since. Our guy spent that same debate lying his ass off, just spraying the camera with a fire hose of bullshit for an hour and a half. Are we panicking? Are we talking about finding a new nominee? Are we acting like it's even worth talking about? No, we're not. They piss their pants in public. We don't. That's why we win. Of course we're fascists. No shit. Fucking newsflash. We're fascists. We know it. They know it. But we don't need to give them documentation of it. This is all supposed to be deniable until it's too late for them to do anything about it. You get that, right? I assumed you did. Apparently, I was incorrect. Because if you got it, I wouldn't be seeing so many of you on TV or on podcasts or in print talking about how this is a Christian nation and we're going to get rid of separation of church and state and make the Constitution subservient to the Bible and blah, blah, blah. We are so close to running this entire show and not even needing a Constitution anymore. And I swear to God, if you fucking sky pilots fuck this up for us, whatever hell you imagine when you say you little prayers at bedtime will be like a hand job from your teenage mistress on a Ferris wheel compared to what I turn your life into. Here's some of what you all have had to say in writing about Project 2025 from your book, Mandate for Leadership, you fucking jerk-offs. And no, I didn't read it. 900 pages, are you serious? This is from Media Matters, those assholes who are always messing up our shit by accurately reporting things we do and say. Quote, the policy book, the fucking policy book, the 1,000-page policy book, you wonky dinks. The policy book suggests that public schools must require students to take the Armed Forces Vocational Aptitude Battery to receive any federal funding in an effort to increase recruiting. I bet that'll be popular. Good thing we're letting that get out there months before an election. Project 2025 also suggests eliminating the FBI director's 10-year term limit established by Congress, claiming the position must remain politically accountable to the president in the same manner as the head of any other federal department or agency. Sure, let's broadcast that we want to turn the head of the FBI into a puppet who will use the Justice Department to do the president's bidding. Hey, maybe we should just start circulating an enemies list containing the names of people we plan on arresting. Oh, wait, one of you shitheads has already been doing that. In the section on the Department of Health and Human Services, quote, HHS should return to being known as the Department of Life. Do you have any idea what Jesus-pilled losers you sound like when you talk like that? Are you trying to take over this country? Or are you trying to get a show on the church channel so you can swindle old people out of their Social Security checks? Because if we take over the country, we won't need to swindle them out of their Social Security checks because we're just going to take the money directly out of Social Security. Do you want to put that in writing too? Who wants to go on Fox and Friends tomorrow and announce that if the Republicans win the election, we're going to end Social Security and pocket the money? Put your fucking hand down! Has it occurred to you clowns that we haven't actually won this thing yet? Has it occurred to you that we can still lose? How are we going to kill Social Security if we lose? How are we going to put women in prison for having miscarriages if we lose? How many of our political enemies are we going to put in prison if we lose? How many immigrants are we going to deport if we lose? How many trans people are we going to kick out of the military if we lose? How many teenagers are we going to con into joining the military if we lose? How are we going to do any of the stuff we've been building toward for the last 50 years if we lose, you pea-brained, loose-lipped, self-incriminating snitches? Eyes on the prize. Stop talking in public about what we actually literally want to do. Stop giving the other side motivation to vote against us. When the liberals and the leftists don't vote, we win. When they do vote, we lose. I know most of you religious types aren't so good at math, but that one's pretty basic. You want to end democracy? You want to tear up the Constitution? You want to crush the poor and black people and women and gay people and trans people and immigrants and refugees and everyone else who isn't one of us? Is that what you want? It had goddamn well better be. If that's not what you want, you shouldn't be a Republican, because that's what this party has been about for as long as any of you fuckers has been alive. If that's what you want, you better start acting like it and tighten this shit up. I don't want to have to come back here again. And now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go. I'm attending a sneak preview of the Reagan movie at the personal invitation of Mr. Robert Davi. And if I don't get there in time to get a good seat, I'll be stuck sitting next to Greg Gutfeld again. Last time that happened, he talked all the way through Sound of Freedom, ruined the movie for me. All right. Dismissed. Quit fucking up.